of them day by day, every morning. That's why amigo Obrador, which is friend Obrador, you are worth so much more than the webs they spin. You are pure Mexican and patriotic. Like Morelos Hidalgo, you are the yell or the scream of the patriots that exclaims, we want justice and love. Wow, that was really touching. And so he says, I really liked this part of the text, which is really talking about what we're talking about today. I say, amigo Obrador, who was capable every day of allowing himself to be crucified every day with ugly words to destroy your spirit every day. Because he comes out every day with the press that all they do is they utilize that position of the press to try and injure and hurt him. So here I want to reflect on the things that are going on. The situation are continuing and will continue. If he opens his eyes, if anything, whatever he does, that they will try to discredit him. But they are appearing ridiculous because it doesn't transcend, it doesn't make sense what they're saying about him. The evidence is profound. What weight does it carry? All it does is that people will make fun of them because they have done nothing. That he's done everything, that in such amount of time, that he's done it so rapidly and allows himself to be criticized and say what they want. And he's always respectful, and he respects their liberty and their right to say what they wish. And the most wonderful and greatest thing that a person can have is the right to express themselves. And we have that. So they don't know what they're claiming. So we need to open our eyes and see that we're in the presence of a great president. And then he says that the people can see the bad intentions of the people that were in power before, to now they're still attacking the president because they know that they will not ever be able to return to power. Yeah. They're worried because if he will be reelected, they're worried about that. But if people would try to reelect him, there would be nobody against him. But he's already said that he will not be allowed himself to reelect himself. But people say that that if the people wanted, he could be put in that position another 4 years, but he doesn't say that. The people say that. They want him. They would like him to continue. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end of their talk there. And I'm just so impressed, with this whole thing with the president. So I mean, I just there's a lot of channels that actually show the president. Oh, here is the response from El Papa, the Pope, because he had sent a letter. Okay, so he had mailed a letter to the Pope and to the King of Spain, because in the year 21, it's going to be 500 years since they invaded Mexico, and he was saying, how shall we commemorate this? Are we gonna, be happy that we were invaded and that our people were killed? And one historian was saying that at the time that they invaded Mexico, they would take the women and rape them and impregnate them, and if they had little boys born, they would beat them against the wall so that they would die, and they would only allow the females to be born, because they didn't want the line of the men, or those little boys to grow up and fight or be against them in any way, or whatever their reason was. But in any case, they were killing. I mean, they killed rampantly anyway. But it was just that AMLO was saying, what are we to do with this? Are we to just have a party that we were invaded? What do we do to commemorate this day? And so what he decided to do was to write a letter to the Pope, because they were also involved in the persecution of the people in Mexico, and a lot of cruelty and murders were done in the name of Christianity, or not Christianity, Catholicism, so he wrote a letter to the president and to the King of Spain, asking, well, nobody knows what the letters are, but he said that the gist of it is that he asked them to, to just ask the people for pardon or forgiveness on behalf of the people that on the behalf of the church, and on behalf of the kings, or the people that the kingdom that attacked him, so I guess because they're the king now, that he thought that they should ask for forgiveness and then just set it aside and forget it, and let that be in the past, but something that was addressed, dealt with, and what was impressive was that the day that AMLO mentioned that, he also asked for forgiveness on behalf of the Mexican government. He asked for forgiveness from the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Indian people that were also have been abused and destroyed by the Mexican government. They've been treated as less than human for many years, and they are not provided for. In fact, in his new policy, he talks about how he's going to make sure that those areas that are not being reached at this time, they're abandoned and up in the hills, and they don't bother to help them out in any way. He vows to make that like a priority too, to get up there and build the roads, repair the roads, and give them the internet and electrical and water and all the bare necessities that they still don't have. They're living in a state worse than even the most impoverished Mexicans. They're the original or some of the original Mexicans, because there's still some that are basically native. You know, they don't have any of the um, mixed blood. You know, we're called mestizos. You know, the Mexicans that are mixed. But you know, we need to be proud of our heritage, of our Mexican heritage, because we're all made wonderfully in our own ways, and we all have something to offer. In any case, I'm just going to go ahead and see what the Pope had to say, because I haven't seen this yet, so we'll see this together and see what he said. He said that, okay, so here he is saying that when he had made a visit to, I think they said Bolivia? Let me see. Okay, so he's saying that the Vatican had, before AMLO requested it or asked it of them, that they had already addressed it in 2015 to Bolivia. The Pope asked for forgiveness not only for the offenses of the church, but also for crimes that were committed against the natives of original lands during that period. And that the theme, or that whole idea, was already addressed by his predecessors at the Episcopal Conference of Latin America. And yesterday so he says yesterday the government of Spain responded to a letter that we sent, or basically he sent, on behalf of the Mexican people to the King of Spain, that by the way, that we didn't even tell anybody, like they think that everybody knows what was in it. He says, he goes, do you guys know what the letter says? Nobody knows what it says. He goes, I didn't expose it. I didn't even tell anybody about it. It was something between me and them that I wrote for them. So in that sense, they made a mistake with, and then I know he's going to say with respectfully, speaking respectfully, that this, we did not tell anybody. We didn't let anybody know about what was in the contents of the letter. We didn't even let anybody know about the letter. I did send the letters because I did say to the King Philip the Sixth of Spain, to the Pope Francisco, but they say that they felt that it was okay. So they are saying that they thought it was disrespectful to let people know about the letter. But I'm just clarifying that I did not let them know, anybody know about the letter. But he goes, they're just saying that it was something to do that was inappropriate or out of form. So they're saying that they reject what we are suggesting in this letter, which we have not published. And the reason we didn't say what was in the letter was due to respect, being respectful. Recording, Caleb. Mom? He's here. Okay, pause. Okay. All right. So he mailed the letter to both of them. And so again, it says we didn't let them know. So he wanted to give them time to review it and analyze it. And he figured we'd get some kind of response after a time. He says, but what's good about this? What has it done? It has made us remember. It had brought back to life in our historical memory that the neoliberals didn't even want us to remember it. They even removed it from our education. But no, we want to discuss the historical memories. With this, people will know what happened about 500 years. What were there any injustices and injuries? It is necessary to ask for forgiveness and to start a new reconciliation in a brotherhood. If we feel that we've got no reason to ask for forgiveness, that everything was fortuitous, normal, that there was no violations to what now we recognize as human rights. Well, all these things are something that need to be analyzed, not because we want to confront, but because we are looking that all these things that were kept in undercurrents, let it be out in the open, and let it be ventilated, and let everybody ask for forgiveness and reconcile. Because we're going to commemorate 500 years of them where they took over, and then 200 years of our independence. So how will we act? Will we celebrate? Why not first revise it, review it, and see what happened? We're not asking for anything except for forgiveness for the injuries. And that would be enough for us to reconcile. It's not to ask it for he's saying that he knows he did it in Bolivia, and he's done it in other places, but we also feel that the church should also would like. Okay, so now this is where he talks about. He says that they've asked for forgiveness in Bolivia and other places, but they've never asked for forgiveness. And this is the church, or the Catholic Church. And he says that he himself is asking for forgiveness from the Jackies for the extermination and for the repression of the Mayan community, and for the persecution of the Chinese immigrants that were assassinated in the revolution of Porfirio. So he's saying, that the Chinese people were also injured by the Mexicans, and he's asking for their forgiveness on behalf of Mexico in his position as the president. Why? Because we want 21 to be the year of reconciliation. But independently of this whole story or theme, he's saying that even though this is brought to light right now, it also brings to light for us to review history. And by the way, he is quite a lover of history, and he's teaching the people a lot about history since he's come into office. He goes on there and talks about the different presidents of the past and their acts, whether they be good or bad, and which ones he is impressed by and uses as his models. And a lot of these Mexican characters and from the past in history are people I've heard their name, but I didn't know what they did or what they stood for or if they were good or bad. I love that he's teaching us, and right now he's talking about how we should take this opportunity, if not for the forgiveness part, at least it brought to light that we are, to bring to light about the history and that we need to learn about it. And so I'm going to let him keep talking, because this is where he's talking about that. That we should know our past. He says, if you don't know where you come, he says, the one who doesn't know where he came from, it'll be very hard for him to figure out which way to go from there, which way to turn. And we're not going to go fall into any confrontation, neither with Spain or any government. We're just putting it out there that we thought convenient to help to act with humility and to become brothers, a brotherhood. He says the government or the power is for protection, not for abuse. And so I'm just clarifying that I did send the letters, and that out of respect, I have not revealed what was in them. And we will not do it until it's considered prudent in respect for the Spaniards and for the Pope. Now, if they decide they want to make it known what was in the letter, it's on their, it's up to them, and that's okay. But we would like to see if we could to have a just get together and discuss what happened, and you know and then in a humble way accept our errors and ask for forgiveness and reconcile. All of us. That's the whole idea, is just for all of us to reconcile. So we'll act with prudence. We do not want confrontation. Okay, so basically that he didn't publicize the contents. He just, in general terms, he did let people know what it was about. They were very fundamental and based on historical acts, and so he just wanted to let the people know that it was just an attempt to reconcile and bring us all together in brotherhood as a Latin people. Anyway, I thought that was pretty touching, and I don't see really what's wrong with that. I know it's old news perhaps, and it happened and it's in the past, but he's right. What are we going to do? Just have a party to say that we were attacked and we've been free for 200 years? It would be nice if they said, gosh, that was horrible that we did that to you, and it's not me, that's in the past, but I understand that was tragic and horrible, and we're sorry that happened to you from our people, that we did that to you. That would be nice to hear, in my opinion. Yeah, my family, is quite mixed. So I do feel that I as a mestiza, I do still connect very strongly with my Mexican roots, and I'm proud of them, and what a hardworking people they are, and what a loving people, and humble and caring and hospitable and great cooks, and wonderful dishes and food, and hard workers, and the hardest workers, they do the hardest labor in other countries, where they go to work. I think it's something to be proud of, and they usually work enough to send money to their family that is impoverished in Mexico, and they never forget when they're here, that they limit themselves, with the meager amount that they make as field workers and such. They still limit themselves so that they can have more to send to the people in Mexico that they know are suffering, because they were there and they saw it for themselves. So anyway, that was my 2 cents on this, and I'm gonna post it, and you have a great day, and make comments. Anything you have to say is welcome. Have a great day. Bye.